The glow of a doorbell camera in a quiet Los Angeles neighborhood. It is 3 a.m. A 31-year-old man named William Applegate stands on the porch, and he's reaching for the handle of a door that isn't his.
Right, and he genuinely thinks he knows who's inside. But for the woman behind that door, which is, pop star Sabrina Carpenter, this is really the start of a living nightmare.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today we are taking a stack of legal journals, news reports, and security analyses to really unpack how the glamour of fame hides this chilling vulnerability.
Yeah, we're using Sabrina Carpenter's recent ordeal to examine the physical and legal protections against stalkers and, well, why they often fail.
Because, the court documents show this wasn't just some random late-night mistake. This guy had allegedly been surveilling her home since April.
Since April. And then on May 23rd, he actually bypassed her security fencing by just trespassing through a neighbor's property.
Oh, wow, through the neighbor's yard.
Exactly. And his claim when he was caught was that he actually knew Sabrina.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah.
The LAPD arrested him. But the wild part is, less than 24 hours later, on May 24th, he was back.
He came right
Back. And then again on May 25th, just loitering in his car for 2 hours. It's like, fame is this powerful magnet that inevitably attracts gold, but also just dangerous shrapnel. How does anyone function knowing they're basically being hunted?
It's a really good question, and it's part of a massive epidemic targeting public figures right now.
Yeah.
Harry Styles recently had a stalker send him 8,000 cards in less than a month.
8,000. That is insane.
It is. And, Taylor Swift has faced multiple break-in attempts at her New York residence just this year alone. The persistence is what makes this so dangerous.
So because stalkers persist even after arrest, victims are forced to build these crazy fortresses. Like Sabrina really leveled up her physical shield.
She definitely did. For the UK leg of her tour, she brought in some heavy hitters. She hired this 7-foot guard named Mason James and Pascal Duvere.
Wait, Pascal Duvere? Isn't that Kim Kardashian's former guard?
Yeah, exactly. The very same. But, a massive bodyguard can't follow you everywhere forever, which is why victims inevitably have to turn to the legal walls, too.
Right, like getting a restraining order.
Yep. Carpenter's legal team secured a temporary civil harassment restraining order, or a CHO, and that covered her sister Sarah, and Sarah's boyfriend George.
But I have to ask, does a piece of paper actually stop an intruder, especially someone who already ignored an LAPD arrest?
Well, threat management experts like Gavin DeBecker, they actively warn against them in certain cases. He argues CHOs can actually enrage stalkers.
Seriously?
Yeah, they can trigger the person to escalate. The piece of paper doesn't always serve the victim's actual physical safety.
So if the restraining order isn't a reliable shield, you'd assume the underlying stalking laws would step in, right? But California's law has a massive built-in weak link.
It really does. It all hinges on this legal concept called specific intent.
Specific intent, what does that mean for the victim?
It means prosecutors don't just have to prove the stalker harassed you. They must prove the stalker specifically intended to cause you fear.
Wait, hold on. If a guy is repeatedly at my door at 3 a.m., my terror is 100% real. Why does the court care what's going on in his head?
Because the law originally wanted to protect free speech, but in practice it creates a loophole. Like in the California case, People versus Halgren, the stalker claimed he just wanted to express his love and exercise free speech.
But that shouldn't legally override the victim's absolute terror. The damage is already done.
I completely agree, and that's exactly why legal experts are desperately pushing for a general intent standard instead.
Which would mean what, exactly?
It would focus objectively on the behavior itself. Like, would this continuous action terrify a reasonable person? If yes, it's stalking, regardless of what the stalker says they intended.
That makes so much more sense. And this doesn't just affect global superstars. These legal loopholes dictate the safety and privacy rights of everyday people facing harassment.
Exactly. If someone is obsessively leaving things on your porch, you are bound by these exact same laws.
Which leaves you, the listener, with a really chilling final thought. California stalking laws require a pattern or a course of conduct over time.
Right. They have to be repeated.
So how much terrifying harassment does a victim have to endure before the law even recognizes it as a crime? Because while the courts wait for a legal pattern to emerge, the victim is just left waiting behind a locked door, watching the glow of a Ring camera at 3 a.m., wondering if tonight is the night the handle finally turns.